What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Parker Nirenstein and this is Vehicle Virgins. I've spent the day with this brand new Dodge Demon. 840 horsepower out of a 6.2 liter supercharged V8, 770 pound-feet of torque. It's got the largest front hood scoop of any production vehicle, the largest air induction volume of any vehicle, the fastest 0 to 60 time, 2.3 seconds, the quickest quarter mile time, 9.65 seconds at 140 miles an hour. This thing is quicker than a Porsche 918, a McLaren P1, or a LaFerrari, as well as a Bugatti Veyron in the quarter mile. And you can buy one for $85,000. That's pretty staggering. And in my review, I showed that it's actually somewhat decent to drive on twisty roads as well. I know people like to fight on the internet and go, yeah, the Demon, it's only good at going in a straight line. Once it sees a 2-degree turn, the thing rolls 40 times. It actually, with 315 section tires in the front and the rear, has a good amount of grip, believe it or not, with 315s in the front, and can go around a corner pretty quick. Now, it doesn't feel like it wants to. It weighs 4,300 pounds, which is quite a bit, but it can if you believe in it. So today I'm going to show you what it's like to drive the car from a first-person point of view, and then we're going to talk about the 5 things I hate about the Dodge Demon, because honestly, no car is perfect. The Dodge Demon certainly isn't perfect, and there are some serious shortcomings that I want to discuss in this video. Let's roll. All right, leave it to Vehicle Virgins to put a Dodge Demon out on the canyons and try to see how good it is at going around corners, am I right? Let's put it into drive, manual mode, ZF 8-speed automatic transmission that shifts very nicely. Let's go ahead and pull out on much too tight of a road for a Demon, according to most people, but we're going to evaluate if that's true or not. The Supercharger Whine in this thing is unbelievable. Got to be one of the best parts of the car. Much louder of a whine than you're used to, even on a Hellcat. Pretty impressive. That's part of the reason is we've got a bigger blower. Instead of a 2.4 liter on the Hellcat, we've got a 2.7 liter blower and a 20% increase in boost pressure. Steering is pretty tight. This is a totally weird comparison. Feels somewhat similar to a higher off-the-ground Camaro Z28. We've got those massive, the Z28 has 305s in the front and 305s in the rear. This has 315s in the front and rear. Massive, massive amount of grip, yet it is a big car. I'm sure the Z28 would spank this around a road course, but it's kind of similar vibes. Decent visibility out of the front. Pedal response is tremendous. And then when you get on the gas, the level at which this thrusts you backwards is almost comical, to be honest. Let's see, we're in second gear. This will absolutely light up the tires in second gear. Oh my God, wow. That's freaking awesome. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it can go around a corner. Does it want to? Not really, but now it is time to talk about 5 things that I hate about the Dodge Demon. The first thing I hate about the Dodge Demon has to do with modifications. There's 2 parts to this. 1, modifying the Demon, and 2, modifying a Hellcat. Let's face it, 965 in the quarter mile. Absurdly fast. Pretty much fast enough for anyone. The problem is, after a few passes down the strip, after reading on the forums, after seeing some Demons push into the low 9s, you're gonna want more power. You are. I mean, that's the nature of the beast on a supercharged car. With this setup, it's not very difficult to achieve more power. A simple pulley on a Demon is gonna boost power by 100 to 200 horsepower with a retune and a pulley, and potentially you run E85, new injectors, and all of a sudden, boom, there goes your factory warranty. That was the entire point of getting the Demon in the first place. The second part is the Hellcat. Hellcats, they start at $63,000. This starts at $85,000. How easy is it to modify a Hellcat to be faster than a Demon? Really, really easy. In fact, for $2,000, you can do a 285 pulley and an HHP tune, and that'll put you at 750 horsepower to the wheels. With 15% drivetrain loss, you're at somewhere around 880 horsepower, which already is more than a Demon for $2,000. Spend the rest on actual slicks instead of drag slicks that are road legal since they've got little slats in them for water. And then you can also install a roll cage in the car, which I'll talk about in a little bit why that's such a negative on the Demon. I feel like manufacturers nowadays are trying so hard to compete with aftermarket companies that they're almost shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. Nowhere near as much with the Demon as the BMW M4 GTS. BMW wanted to make the ultimate edition of the M4 by adding some components that you could have done the same thing, gotten a lot more power, been faster around the track for a heck of a lot less money. For the M4 GTS, it starts at 135 grand. Originally with markup, people were paying like 200K for it. Yes, it has a water injection system, it sounds better, it has a roll cage, lightweight seats, but the increase in power was almost negligible when you could just do that for a cheap tune. Boom, on the M4, spend some money on coilovers, maybe some better tires, and then already you're faster than the M4 GTS, and the M4 itself would only set you back 70 grand. Spend 10K in mods and you destroy an M4 GTS. Similar thing with this, you could buy a Hellcat, spend money, and make it significantly faster than a Demon. Now, I will say, seeing this car in person, the wide body, the logos, just how it sits on the road with the wheels and the drag tires, it looks a lot cooler than a Hellcat. It is cooler than a Hellcat. It's significantly more rare. The fact that it's a Demon makes it different. It has the trans brake. There's a host of upgrades that might need to be done eventually, like upgrading the transmission if you really do crank the Hellcat up 10 notches. But definitely something to consider, and in my opinion, a downside. The second thing I hate about the Demon, it weighs way too much. It started life as essentially a Hellcat, or a Challenger, so to speak, that weighed 4,500 or 4,600 pounds. Now they've dropped 200 pounds off of it, dropping it to 4,300, 4,400 pounds, which is a nice improvement, but there's a reason why funny cars with 5 times the horsepower of a Demon weigh 2,600 pounds and not 4,300 pounds. Now, if they had spent all the money to develop a completely new car to make it lightweight, it could have been a disaster financially, but 4,300 pounds for a drag car is pretty intense. It limits it in situations like this, around corners. You've got a car like the ZL1, for instance, that's spanking vehicles like a McLaren 570S around the track, yet can run mid-10s in the quarter mile. Then you add spray, simple nitrous can bring the car into the 9s with the right tires. It's already been done, and boom, you've got a car in the 9s that also can lap the track as fast as supercars. Less of a one-trick pony. Is this a total one-trick pony? To be honest, pretty much, although it is easier and nicer to drive around turns than you would think. The third thing I don't like about the Demon is that it looks too much like a Hellcat. From the side and the rear, in fact, the rear doesn't have anything that identifies it as a Demon whatsoever, other than potentially the matte stripe that runs all over the car, although you don't have to get that, and it's a pretty expensive several $1,000 option. The back just says SRT. Yeah, you've got some wider fenders and a different hood, but now they make the wide body Hellcat, and you imagine that people are gonna start putting hoods that look like Demons on their Hellcat. Yeah, you've got drag tires, but people do that on Hellcats as well. I feel like they should have done a little bit more to differentiate it from the rest of the Challengers, because to a layman, this just looks like a Challenger. Now, part of that is cool because, well, if you really know and you're in the know, you realize that this is a Demon. And if you don't, it could puddle along by thinking, that's just a really loud muscle car, that's lame. Now, we've got one interior element that's nice and Demon specific, other than different buttons here on the dash. It says Demon here on the right side of the dash, and it actually says the number this car is. It's Demon number 1195. But other than that, even on the exterior, it looks pretty much the same. The fourth thing I hate about the Dodge Demon, and this confuses me beyond belief, is that technically you can't run this at a drag strip. According to the NHRA, you need to have a roll cage and door bars on any vehicle that's able to run under 10 seconds in the quarter mile. In fact, that's not just during competition, it's also test and tune. I watched my friend Nick, Guitarmageddon ZL1, run under 10s and get kicked off the track because his car didn't have a roll cage. Then he ended up building a roll cage into his vehicle. But it's confusing to me because the Dodge Demon was built with almost one goal in mind. Dodge themselves admitted that The purpose of this, in many ways, was to have a factory car with a warranty that can run the quarter in under 10 seconds. Knowing full well that it can do the quarter in under 10 seconds, I'm pretty surprised why they didn't decide to put a roll cage in it. They should have a roll cage so you can actually drag race this thing instead of getting there, running one pass under 10, and then getting kicked out. Last but not least, will the Demon be the coolest and the fastest Challenger? We don't know. When they came out with the Scat Pack, it was nuts how much power it made. Then they made the Hellcat and people were like, 707 horsepower? Are you insane? Is that legal to put into a car? People are gonna die. It's the end of the world. And then we came out with a Demon. It just crushes it again, 840 horsepower. What's to say in a year they don't come out with the Devil? That's the dumbest name I could have possibly said right there. That makes 950 horsepower and runs low nines, that has a roll cage and comes with a different bespoke interior. There's really no way to know. Now, I'm hoping that these hold their values pretty well. They're not making that many, a couple thousand. But for the people who buy a Demon, it depreciates and then they come out with a better, crazier version. This kind of feels like, when is the end? That's why people, when they go in the aftermarket world, their car doesn't become obsolete because they start modifying it. You add different aftermarket components, you beef up the transmission more, you upgrade the engine components so you produce more horsepower, you run on different fuels, and that way you can always keep progressing instead of getting outdated by a new car. But because this has the factory warranty, you probably don't want to avoid that. It puts you in a bit of a predicament. Although overall, I'm really impressed with the Demon. I do love this car. It's more fun to drive than I would have imagined. It's very comfortable. It can go around turns. And of course, it's stupid fast in a straight line. I think we'll end this video with a little acceleration pull. This thing is ridiculous. Special thanks to the owner for providing this vehicle. My gosh, is it epic. And special thanks to LA Drones for the epic drone footage. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.